Hi everybody, today I'm going to talk about my new iPad 1 screen. I learned about the iPad 1 screen by Josh Allen. You can look for him at J_Allen on Twitter. He's got some fantastic one screen ideas, but basically the idea is one screen of iPad apps should really set you across of what you use on a daily basis, both you and your students. Now in my case though, my one screen tends to be a little bit more since I'm the only tech facilitator for our institution, which is PK through 12, so I have a lot of apps to do. So what I did with my one screen is, of course, I divided it up into the various file folders and then took my main apps and put them on the bottom. As you can see on my main app, Stick Around, of course, which is my favorite app, takes precedence over everything because I use this on a constant basis. Followed by my camera. My camera I use various for picture shots, video, and more. And of course that goes right into my photos. Of course my mail, because I check my mail on a regular basis, and my Safari, and of course my Casper. And I will talk about Casper a little bit more, what I use that for. So let's get into the rest, shall we? So going to my first one, which is daily life, I of course put this onto the apps I use in my daily life. Now this usually uses from the App Store to settings, as you can see. I put down the apps I use on a regular basis and in a specific order in my first folder. I usually use these apps all the time on my front screen and organize them, but in this case I decided to put them in one folder and name them as daily life because I use this daily life, whether it's updating apps or downloading new ones, checking my calendar, listening to my music, reading an iBook, taking care of FaceTime, or of course double checking contacts. The ones here, as you can see from the iTunes Store, to find iPhone are the ones I use but not on a regular basis, henceforth they got put on the second page. After that we went right into education. As you can see, Explain Everything takes my number one spot here in this folder, which I'm using right now to explain this video, followed by Aurorasma. We're using a lot of augmenting classroom, and Aurorasma is really huge here in our education. After that I have Accelerated Reader. We use Accelerated Reader for our K through 5th grade, and we use a constant sync just in case anything gets lost. So I have to keep AR on my iPad on a regular basis in case anything gets lost, so we need to check some student progress. After that I actually went into Edmodo and mobile learning for Blackboard. Edmodo, of course, is pretty self-explanatory. I use Edmodo not as much since I don't have a regular classroom, my teachers do, but since I am a graduate student doctorate program and I work with other teachers and TAs that work on their mobile learning, of course, Blackboard tends to be the number one spot here under education. Now after that, we use a lot of Google apps for education. So as you can see, all my Google apps are here that I use on a regular basis. Of course, my Google Drive, my Docs, my Sheets, my Slides, and my Google Earth. And of course, we use Google Admin, so this is so much easier to have this right at my fingertips to plug in right here if I have to reset a password or double check something for Google Classroom and admin for my teachers and students. So I have this all right here. And since we do a lot of Google Earth projects, including with our coding as well as Makey Make It, I always keep this together because Google Earth tends to be huge when we use it in the classroom. And of course, I use these on a regular basis in my Google Drive. I don't use Hangouts or Google Plus as much on my iPad. That is usually referred to my phone or home computer. Now moving to my favorite with photography, as you can see, I of course got them all lined up. Of course YouTube, because I do a lot of videos as well as uploading for my YouTube channel. Of course iMovie, since I use it on a regular basis. Desari almost got the boot, but I've been using it for some more screencasts lately, so that has been kept. Plus I do some tutorials for teachers, so I need to keep that handy. As you can see, Pic Collage is constantly on my iPad. I use this huge for my app dice, so that's not going anywhere, as well as Comic Maker HD for my comics. I preferred this over using Scribblepress or other comic book apps. I like it a lot more. Despite changes in Telegami, I use it a lot for my profile reviews for my books, as well as some other interactions, so I actually use Telegami a lot more. I use BuddyPoke, so that stayed. Trading cards is currently right now because I'm teaching some teachers and students how to make their own trading cards, as well as working with some productivity on my own book. So trading cards is going to be around for a little while, but probably will leave after the end of winter. Of course, Green Screen by Do Ink I use on a regular basis for all my tutorials as well as lessons, so that's staying on. And of course, Chatterpix is huge for me because I love using Chatterpix. We have tons of our students using Chatterpix, so I kept it. As you can see, there's another line, but it's just my photo booth, which I only use on a regular basis. Now going to presentation, Hakudeck actually got deleted. I've not been using it as much, even though I've been using it for a lot of app smashes. A lot of my teachers use it. But I've been using Keynote a lot, and of course I was able to get Keynote templates for free during one download, so I keep these together. And since I use these directly, I've kept my Nearpod on here because I do upload a lot of my presentations for Nearpod here, keeping them organized, as well as my student presentation for teachers. So my presentation right now are just these 3 apps, but technically Keynote is center. We're using the templates when I can, and Nearpod for my lessons. Now, going to productivity, though, of course, Notability and Notes are my constant ones. I use Notability for almost everything from class to my own students for notes, annotations, as well as recording for my book reviews, as well as notes because I take quick notes. Now, Evernote I love to use with Sketch because they sync across each other through the Evernote platform, so I've been using these a lot. I've also been working with spreadsheets more, so numbers, of course, ended up staying. Of course, Poplet, I love using mind maps, so that had to stay. And now recently, Book Creator got into me a little bit more than using Comic Maker HD or Scribblepress, so Book Creator is now on here on a regular basis. And of course, Pages for my regular assignments, as well as helping with newsletters with my teacher. So this is my productivity folder. Of course, social network, Twitter is number one since I use Twitter on a regular basis. And of course, my app's gone free to look for apps that have gone free now. I got rid of App Tracker because I was not using it very much. And of course, Pinterest because I use Pinterest a lot for lessons and ideas. And of course, Facebook, Instagram, and Pages have worked well. I mostly have used the Facebook and Facebook Pages for our own Facebook pages, as well as related educational pages I have, like my App Dice rollout there. Instagram is only being used for the school network for our website because actually Instagram I have on my phone. I use that more regular basis, but for the school I do have to keep Instagram on mine for my social networks. But I'm only using these main 6, and of course Twitter and Pinterest are the biggest ones I use outside apps gone free. Now, I've really reorganized my utilities. I use InstaShare and iNigma mostly for QR codes and sharing between teachers and students, and of course my calculator app. Now, I've been using the remote mainly for our Apple TVs as a backup, and I've actually found this used a lot for classroom time, followed by Chirp is being used because I am using that actually to share work with students on different assignments, and of course my Dropbox for upload. And of course I've been using Wikipedia still constantly for book references as well as learning theories, even though I don't use it a lot. And of course Decide Now, of course, for random selection and other assignments, especially my App Smashes and App Dice rolls. I've been using Decide Now a lot more often, so I've kept this on the bottom of my utilities. Now, to wrap it all up here is my Casper. We use Casper for our one-to-one, so I constantly have Casper Focus to keep checks on student iPads so they're actually working in assignments. And if I ever have to get to the dashboard, I have my JSS Mobile ready to go to do any classroom editing or student editing. And, of course, my self-service, which is the main stamp. But I use Casper a lot more, especially since we went one-to-one with iPad, so that is always constant on the bottom of my dock. So with that said, everybody, that is my new iPad 1 screen for the 2014-2015 school year. As I've said, it will be changing probably by the end of the first semester come December because of a couple apps I won't need anymore. And plus there's 2 I've been actually using on a more regular basis on my phone that might transfer to the iPad. So that's my 1 screen. What's yours?